Very good morning to all. Welcome to the webinar on Enhanced VMware and Hyper-V Data Protection with Vembu VMBackup version 3.5. My name is Manoj. I am here part of Sales Engineering with Vembu Technologies. I'll be hosting today's session. I hope a few of the attendees are quickly trying to join the session. So let's leave a minute for everyone to get joined and then we can go ahead and get started. Thank you. Hope everyone has joined. We can get started. To start with, let's have a quick intro about the company profile. Vembu Technologies is founded in the year 2004. We are a private company, profitable since 2006. We have 4,000 plus channel partners and we reach more than 60,000 businesses so far. We are headquartered in Chennai, India. 70% of our customers are from North America, 20% from Europe, and the rest 10% from Asia Pacific region. Vembu VDR Suite is actually a one-stop solution for all your backup and disaster recovery needs, categorizing the requirement of small and medium-sized businesses. It actually has a group of products bundled together, and they are Vembu VMBackup, using which you can do backup and replication for VMware and Hyper-V, Vembu Image Backup for backup and bare metal recovery of physical Windows servers and desktops, Vembu Network Backup, that's a backup solution for file folder, granular file folder level backups and backing up applications like MS Exchange, SQL, SharePoint, Active Directory, Outlook, MySQL, etc. Vembu Online Backup is purely a cloud-based solution where you can directly back up data to our cloud, Vembu Cloud, which is on secure Amazon environment. And Vembu SaaS Backup is a backup solution for backing up SaaS applications like Office 365 and Google Apps. Adding to that, we do have some add-on products, and they are Vembu Offsite DR, which is an add-on service to the Vembu VDR backup server. Using Offsite DR, you can have an additional copy of the backed up data to an offsite data center, a private cloud, or that could be a remote SAN or NAS. And Vembu Cloud DR helps you to set up a hybrid cloud environment where you can replicate the additional backup copy to Vembu Cloud, so that in case of a disaster, you can directly initiate a disaster recovery from our cloud service. Vembu VDR 360 helps you to do 24/7 monitoring and manageability of your multiple backup servers. So using this single centralized portal, you can manage and monitor your multiple sites easily. Vembu Universal Explorer is an agentless software which helps you to perform a granular recovery of applications like MS Exchange, SQL, SharePoint, Active Directory, etc. Say for example, if it's an Exchange, you can do a mail level restore. If it is a SQL, you can even do a database level restore with this ability. Why actually we need Vembu VMBackup is backing up virtual environments are typically more expensive and difficult to manage. So fundamentally, it required a different approach towards backup and disaster recovery. So Vembu VMBackup is exclusively designed for virtual environments like VMware vSphere and Microsoft Hyper-V by the experts in the industry. It actually fills the purpose with the best breed in technology that provides a solution which has good manageability in an affordable cost for backing up VMware vSphere and Microsoft Hyper-V. And it does not only the machine level backup of those VMs, but it also ensures that it is backing up the applications residing inside the virtual machines intact and consistent, and it also provides an option to perform a cloud disaster recovery. So to go deep into the backup and disaster recovery, we need a basic understanding of what is an RTO and RPO. Recovery time objective RTO is nothing but the time taken to recover a machine after the disaster. So with Vembu VMBackup, you can achieve an RTO of less than 15 minutes, where you have majorly 3 levels of recovery, which is instant virtual machine recovery. You can spin the backed up machine as a VM on the backup server. Instant file level recovery, where you can directly go ahead and browse through the files and folders available on the backed up machine. And instant application level recovery, where you can perform a granular restore of applications like Exchange, SQL, SharePoint without performing a manual restore or a bare metal restore. RPO recovery point objective is like up to which point we can recover a backup after a disaster. Vembu offers near continuous data production without affecting the production data center. It has an automated backup and replication scheduling mechanism, and the backup frequency starts from every 15 minutes. So at any point of time, you can achieve an RPO of less than 15 minutes with Vembu VMBackup. So at any point of time, the backup data should be recoverable. If not, the backups are worthless. We have come across several scenarios where while performing the disaster recovery, the administrators or the IT admins comes to realize that the backed up data is actually corrupt, and eventually they end up in data loss. To avoid such scenarios, we have introduced a backup verification such that the post completion of every backup schedule or once in a day, an automated check will happen on the backed up data. All the backed up machines will be booted up, and a screenshot of the boot screen will be captured and mailed to the administrators. So just by taking a look at the email and checking the boot screen, you can ensure that at any point of time the backed up machines are consistent, bootable, and good to go. So how we are able to achieve all these features is called we have introduced our own file system called Vembu Hive. It's actually an efficient file system designed to manage the storage repositories of large-sized cloud-based storages. And this file system can be easily implemented in any type of storage like SAN, NAS, or DAS. And it has an automatically you can directly scale up or scale out the storage devices when you have this file system implemented. This file system has an inbuilt version control, error correction, compression, deduplication, and encryption included in it. So when we speak about performing a physical to virtual or virtual to physical or between hybrid virtual environments like VMware or Hyper-V or vice versa, we can easily do this with Vembu VMBackup because this Vembu solution has built-in migration plans in it. So it supports the instant creation of VHD, VMDK raw files of the backed up physical or virtual machines so that the users can start instantly migrating between P2V, V2P, or V2V by choosing the required file format on the backup server. So let's see in detail about what are the deployment scenarios available with Vembu VMBackup. So this is the architecture of a typical Vembu BDR, where you can see the important software component is the Vembu BDR backup server, where you have the storage connected where all the data is stored. So let's say if you are backing up a VMware or Hyper-V environment, you can directly add the VMware ESXi server or the Hyper-V host server credentials on the BDR server itself, where it will have an integration service which is called VMBackup, communicate with the VMware server and Hyper-V, performs reads and performs a backup to the BDR server. From the BDR server, you have two options where you can have a redundant copy replicated to an offsite data center using offsite DR. Alternatively, you can also replicate the data to our cloud server using Cloud DR. And Vembu Portal is a dedicated portal provided to you for managing your licenses and invoices. So the license, all those information can be easily managed from your Vembu Portal account, and the licenses will be supplied to the BDR server automatically from the backend. So when we see the architecture of how a VMware backup and replication works with BDR backup server, so you can see on the BDR server itself, you can directly add the VMware server credentials. So what happens is like Vembu BDR server will have a proxy or an integration service communicate to the VMware server. We call it as a VMBackup agent. It will actually read the data, encrypt the data, compress the data, and only the encrypted compressed cipher data will be sent to the BDR backup server storage. So by this way, you can do efficient backups with Vembu VMBackup. And the same applies to Hyper-V as well, where you can directly add a Hyper-V server on the BDR server console and directly start backing up. When we speak about the important features in the Hyper-V backup, it supports Microsoft Windows 2008 R2, 2012 and 2012 R2. Backup of multiple VMs in single backup job, or option to create multiple backup jobs with a group of VMs can be done with this VM backup. And we have developed our own CBT drivers to track to perform an high performance to do an high performance incremental backups. So the incremental backups will be very much efficient and very much smaller in size compared to that of the very first full backups. And the hot backup ensures zero VM downtime, and the VSS aware technology for application consistency is integrated. and it also supports the Hyper-V cluster shared volumes. So when we speak about the simple deployment for backing up VMware Hyper-V, you can directly map the VMware Hyper-V server to the VDR server by directly adding the ESXi server or Hyper-V host server credentials on the backup server's GUI. So you can manage your backups, replication, perform disaster recovery from the Vembu VDR backup server itself. So this is a simple deployment. Let's say if you are running multiple VMware environment or multiple Hyper-V environment, so you want a hybrid or distributed deployment. From the Vembu VDR server, you can have independent VMBackup agents, but the agent itself have a dedicated GUI. So on that GUI, you can add the respective Hyper-V or VMware service credentials. So for each environment, you will have a separate console through the Vembu VMBackup agent. So you can create, manage backups from the dedicated management consoles available on the Vembu VMBackup agent. So this is a kind of distributed deployment. And speaking about the recovery scenarios, the very important method is a quick recovery of the virtual machines from the VDR server. So we have a concept called virtual drive, where it will not actually utilize any storage on the backup server machine. However, it will have a representation of the backed up data in VHD, VMDK, IMG file formats. So if you wanna, let's say if a critical virtual machine is down, you can immediately spin that virtual machine up and running through instant boot on a Hyper-V, VMware or KVM environment using this recovery feature. And let's say if you need specific files and folders on that machine, from virtual drive you can directly add the machine to the disk management of the backup server, and you can simply browse through the files and folders of the backed up machine without performing a manual restore. And the item level recovery is for the applications like Exchange, SQL, SharePoint, Outlook, etc. So Vembu Universal Explorer is a utility that can be installed on any machine, and from there you can perform a granular restore of Exchange mails, SQL databases, SharePoint documents, or Active Directory users roles instantly. So these are all the quite high-level features with Vembu VDR Suite version 3.5. So let's go ahead and see in live how the VDR Suite version 3.5 console looks like, how we can configure a backup, and what are all the recovery methods available on VDR Suite version 3.5. So this is the single centralized control console of the Vembu VDR Suite version 3.5 standalone protector. With this single console, you can configure backups, perform restore, perform various levels of recovery using this single console. So let's say if I want to back up a VMware environment, click on backup VMware vSphere. So it will have an option to directly add my VMware server credentials here. So all you need to do is just click on add VMware vSphere server, and here you need to provide your ESXi server credentials or vSphere credentials. So once when you add it, it will be listed on the available servers for backup. So here you need to provide the host name or IP address and the user access credentials of the ESXi server. Once it is added, it will be listed. So what happens is, like, if you want to configure a backup, I've just added one from my test bed. So all you need to do is just click on backup now. Now what happens is an integration service or a proxy or a Vembu VMBackup agent communicates with that ESXi server and pops up all the virtual machines running inside the server. So all you need to do is just need to pick up what are all the VMs you want to backup and click on next. And here you need to configure the scheduling, how frequently you want to run the backup. If you can see, you can even start the backups from every 15 minutes. So this is what I mentioned, where you can achieve an RPO and RTO of less than 15 minutes with Vembu VMBackup. So once when you configure configure how frequently you want to run the backup, just proceed configuring the retention. So this is where you can choose how many restore points you would like to have for the backup. And adding to that, as I mentioned, all these backups are application aware. So let's say the backed up virtual machine has critical applications like Exchange running on it, you can enable this option so that during the backup the software ensures that the Exchange server running inside the VM is also consistent, so that we can easily perform a mail level restore with this image backup or the machine level backup itself. So once when you configure the retention, just review the configuration once and add a schedule name where once when you click on run the backup, you can directly start running the backup to the BDR server. So this is about configuring backups, and when we speak about the recovery, there are several recovery options available for an image level or VMware Hyper-V backup. So all you need to do is just click on recovery and click restore. So it will just go and list you what are all the type of restores or the recovery that can be done for this backup job. The very first one is the instant VM recovery. Let's say if the backed up VM is a critical machine and that is down, you can select this and perform an instant boot so that the backed up virtual machine will be booted as a VM on the backup server's hypervisor. So from there you can directly go ahead and connect to the VM and start using it. And the other restore options available are live recovery to an ESXi server. Let's say if you want to rebuild the VM on the source environment, you can just use the live recovery so that the VMTK file will be directly restored to the target ESXi server's data store, and you can directly create a VM and bring the VM up and running there. And instant file level recovery is for performing a restore of granular files and folders from the backed up machine. So once when you proceed this restore, the backed up image will be attached as additional drive on the backup server's disk management, where you can browse, navigate and copy the required files and folders without performing a manual restore. And the disk level restore is for performing a selective disk level restore to the target VMs in an ESXi host. It's one of the legacy restore method. And adding to that, let's say if you want to do a P2V or V2P or V2V, or if you are going to do a rebuild on a separate environment, you can just download the backed up machine in the VHD, VMDK, VHDX, flat VMDK raw image file format with this legacy download method option. So these are all the various recovery options available, and with Vembu BDR Suite version 3.5, and this covers the important features available with the BDR Suite version 3.5. So there is a 30 days of free trial period available. So if you are interested, just go ahead and start the evaluation, and hope you will feel better when you directly have your hands on into the product. Once again, this session is recorded, so if anyone of you need a recorded copy of this session, feel free to send an email to vembu-sales@vembu.com, or you can also mail our support desk at vembu-support@vembu.com. Once again, thank you all for joining the session. Have a good day.